Hey guys, it's DrLootCrate back with another Satisfactory tutorial. I know it can be difficult when you have to step up your game from single input machines like smelters and constructors to two input machines like assemblers and foundries. There are a ton of ways to feed materials into these machines. You can see a few examples from my factories in the background. Do it from above, below, or with stacked belts. This video today will give you a step-by-step tutorial on my standard two input machine manifold method, another super clean method using a logistics floor, and the actual design that I will be using for my factory, a hybrid of the two. Stick around to the end to fast forward through my full 480 steel ingots per minute build in all its glory. It's a beautiful morning here in the Rocky Desert, a beautiful morning to work on some assemblers. So let's get started. Okay, so here's where we're gonna make the magic happen today, hooking up some belts to some two input machines. So we're actually gonna use a foundry here today for these examples because this is part of my steel plant. It's part of my big Fused Modular Frames factory, which you can see coming together in the background. So I'll grab my first foundry and put it down and we'll work from there. Okay, so here's a foundry. It doesn't really matter where we put it. We're not trying to save space or anything like that, but I like to have it centered on a foundation. And then this is lined up with the middle of a foundation like this. So there's our foundry. And so this is 6 squares wide. So the middle is right down the line here. So we're going to run our belts right there. We're using the solid steel alternate recipe for this one. Highly recommend if you have it. You can check out my other video on how to unlock all the alternate recipes using satisfactorycalculator.com. So I'll grab my stackable conveyor pole here. We'll use that to set this up, which is pretty useful when you have a multi-input machine. You can see our inputs over here, 2 conveyor lifts coming out of conveyor holes, one being right on the ground as low as you can make it, and another one that's 2 notches up. 2 notches up will line up with the stackable conveyor pole. So we're going to make this run right down the middle here, down this middle stripe. So if we line this up, when you see that line and then go 1, 2, back and put it down, when you run your belt from here, it will be at a right angle. All right, so you can see it like that. Looks pretty good. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. Run this straight. When you see the line, then go back 1, 2. So we'll grab this one and put this at a right angle right underneath here too. So now we have our iron ingots and our coal. So we're going to say this is kind of the normal way, the standard way. If you're just trying to bash together a bunch of 2 input machines, this is really the quickest and easiest way to do it. You have your belts on the same level as your machines. Okay, we'll grab our splitter here. And we want to see where you have the 2 lines. That's where it's lined up perfectly. We want the input facing the belt like this. And then we'll use a very short but very useful splitter stack here for this second input. And so the first one doesn't matter which direction. Then the second one, if you have the input or facing where your materials are coming from, you can delete this bottom one. And we can hook up the belts to the machine here like this. Right here like this, and then we'll connect this through the bottom, connect this through the top. So here you have these belts kind of clip onto the top of this splitter, but that's pretty par for the course. I don't mind that, having them kind of sit on top of the splitter like that. That's fine with me. And then you have this 2-layer approach. You have this coming down the short ramp and this going in here into the second input. That's really the standard way that I hook up assemblers, and a pretty easy way to do it. You can make this a little bit more supported looking if you toss in a couple additional stackable conveyor poles along the way for this top level, and that can help the whole thing look a little bit more supported. But really, this is a utilitarian approach. Just trying to make it easy and quick. You can do this all the way down for as many assemblers as you want. We'll do one more just for good measure to show you the manifold here, just to make sure we know what's going on. So then we have our splitter lined up with our other ones, input facing that way. Get the 2 lines, And the second one, make sure your input's facing the right way. There we go. Bish, bash, bosh. So any 2-input machine, this is really the simplest way to hook them up. You can knock this out really quickly and make this really as long as you want, a little horizontal manifold. After this, I'll show you how to make it a little bit cleaner and use a logistics floor to hide your belt for a 2-input machine. Let me show you how to hook up assemblers for a completely clean look. On the level where your machines are, the only thing you will see is lifts and conveyor holes, and we'll hide all the belt work on a logistics floor below. So let's set up a couple of foundries and we'll get this going. So it doesn't really matter where we put these, but I like to center it. Put this here. We'll just do 4 here. So we'll put this equally on the other side. There. Match this up too. Like so. So the easiest way to do this, what can be really tricky, is going between floors and trying to get things lined up in the right spot. So what I recommend is breaking out your floor holes right here and just put them right in front. You can put it right in front right here. That works fine. Like this. And then if you put the floor holes in first, then it is easy to find where to put your lifts when you're on the other floor. We usually hook these up. Now make sure you have the arrows going the right direction. You can hit R to switch between which directions these are going. So we want these to go out like this because we're feeding these machines, and it does that where you have to basically put them in twice here. Let's do them all. That's quick. Yeah, but it is definitely an annoying thing to have to rotate them twice or just click twice. All right, so there we have our input. You can see this is already looking pretty good compared to that last option with all the splitters and belts running around here. So let's go down to our logistics floor and get things working down there to hook this all up. So we're down here on the floor below. Last time we had our inputs of coal and iron ingots going up through some floor holes here, but we're actually gonna bring these down with lifts now to this floor. So there's the iron ingots, and there is coal. So we're going to take a very similar approach here to the way we did it on the top level when we had the belts on the same level as the machines. So we'll break out our stackable conveyor pull. You can line it up with this center input here and then go 1, 2 that way, and then run your belt. You get a nice right angle. Same here. Go here and 1, 2. And we have the same setup that we did before. So what we're going to do here is get the lifts coming down from our machine. Remember, we put those holes in and the lifts on the top level. And we're going to bring them down through the floor to here to this logistics floor and feed them all here. So we'll do the first hole on each machine all the way to the ground to feed this bottom iron ingot belt. So let's break out our lifts. We're going to put it in here and make sure it's in input mode and put it. So I always like to watch it till it's yellow and then go up 1. And that's as low as it goes. And that lines up with that bottom level of belts. So we'll do the same thing here on this side. I always like to just keep them organized so you remember what goes to what. So then this first machine, bring it down, and you can bring it all the way down to this floor and go up 1, 2. That will line up with the stackable conveyor pull. You can look at it like this. When the bottom of the hole lines up with the top of the other one, each one of these basically the height of the square represents the height of the stackable conveyor pull. So if you have another level of stackable conveyor pulls, like we'll see when I do the manufacturer version of this video, We just have these lifts and they're staggered to fit different heights of stackable conveyor poles. But if you want to fit just one, just move it up 2 notches off the ground and it will fit perfectly. So we'll do the same thing here. You can see how that lines up. I don't even need to check, but let's do it. We're on the bottom level, up 1, 2. Okay. And then we can actually do the exact same thing that we did before. Let's break out our splitter. We'll get our input going that way. Let's go over here and take a better look. Have our input going that way, and then we'll line it up with our machine. So there's no line coming out, so let's make sure we have it. There we go. And so if we run these belts here and here, looking good. All right, I'll break out another splitter. We want it to line up with our inputs. That one doesn't matter because it's on the stackable conveyor pole height. So we use that one facing the right way where our inputs go. And we can delete this bottom splitter. We'll feed in that there. That has the iron ingots going. And then we'll feed these belts here. See, that lines up nicely. Bring this in. Like that. And then there's the coal. So that's how you can feed these machines pretty easily. You can see that we just use the exact same approach as we did on the top, but instead of feeding directly into the machine holes, we're feeding in these lifts which go through the floor and feed the machines nice and clean. We can take a very similar approach on the output. So the output is simple. There's just one output, so we just do it where we can put a floor hole right outside the output. We'll go here, here. We'll go over here on this side and do it as well. Get our lifts. Oopsie, now you got to be careful. Don't go too fast. You got to make sure that your lift has the input set on it because we are doing outputs from the machine, so we need to go into the belt like that. So we'll put the lifts on this side. And sometimes you have to rotate the belt twice. It's kind of a crapshoot. Something I wish they would fix. Okay, so we have our outputs and inputs. You can see this looks nice and clean on this level. There's nothing other than the machines and these lifts. It gives you a lot of freedom to walk around your factory, which I really like. It helps you make some really clean builds. Gives you room to drive your factory cart around or a truck through here, or other conveyor belts, whatever you want. Let's go hook up the outputs down at the bottom. So we'll get our output going. These single holes over here, we just put in on the top. So let's get our lift out and bring these down onto our logistics level here. I'll make this go this way. So we'll do the other one. Here's the lift and the hole and the output. We'll bring this down and also make this turn to go out like this. Let's put it as the lowest level where it doesn't clip through the floor, and that will work like a charm. So now we need to get our mergers out to deal with the output of the machine. So we have 3 inputs in a merger and 1 output. We want to have our output moving the direction we want our manifold to go, which is this way, like this. Never mind the clipping from a temporary light pole so we can see what we're doing down here. So we'll put this belt here. And we'll put another merger. We want to keep our manifold going in that direction. So we'll put a belt in here and hook this up. So we really just need to do the same thing on this side and then bring the results together. So we'll pop this in here real quick. Doesn't take very much time, and we want our output to flow the direction of we want our manifold to go. Put these belts in. So we can bring both sides together here in the middle. We'll grab our belts and do that. We can get a nice 90-degree bend by going to the line and then going back too. If you take anything away from this video, it's very easy to make 90-degree angles. Wait till you see the line. Back to. Bang. So that will give you the output and merge together. Then you can take this wherever you want. In this case, we're making steel to use for other parts in this factory, but you can take it out here on the bottom level. You could have a truck run straight into this building through here. You'd even almost fit a train station underneath here, but you could have one out there. So you can use these logistics floors to keep your belts out of the way and out of the view and make it convenient to have all of this stuff on one floor. And I still make the belt work neat down here, but you can really hide these floors so nobody ever sees them, and you can make your factories look super clean by keeping all the belts off the level where the machines are. So the point of this video is to show you two different ways to feed a 2-input machine. One with the belts on the same level as the machine, and another where the belts are hidden on a logistics floor below the machine. You're looking at the final product when you have the belts on a logistics floor below the machine and feed them via conveyor holes and lifts. You can see this is very compact, hides your belts away, and keeps things very clean for when you're trying to do a really good looking build. I'm gonna tear this down and build the foundries that I need for my Fused Modular Frames factory. I'm aiming for 7.5 Fused Modular Frames per minute, which requires about 500 steel ingots per minute. So I think that will require me to make 8 foundries of using this solid steel ingot alternate recipe. So I'm gonna tear this down and actually show you the full build of my steel plant for my Fused Modular Frames factory. I will see you on the flip side. While I'm knocking out this steel factory, I want to let you know that I got some great content coming up, including a video like this about manufacturers and another on setting up aluminum production. Sounds good to you? Subscribe to my channel. We got some good stuff coming up. If you've made it this far, really appreciate it if you drop a like on this video. It helps me get more eyes on my videos and will really help grow our channel. I've loved all the comments and the feedback that I've gotten on my first few videos, so keep them coming. It's great to hear positive feedback as a new YouTuber, so please keep the comments coming. Let me know what you liked about the video and your requests for future videos. I'd definitely love to take into account what you guys want to see in the future. So my voice is signing off for now, but stick around to see my final steel aquarium get its final touches. Hope you enjoyed the video and stay stoked out there. Bye-bye.